Hey YouTube fam. So I made this little octopus for my sister. She loves them. And I did search it on YouTube, but I made my own. I just had a peek at some others, but I didn't make theirs. I made up my own. And I really wanted to get more of a slouchy, bulby head, but this is what I got. And I think he's adorable. These are just yarn eyes sewed in. It's the bottom. These are just 4 worsted weight yarn, white, for the suckers. And I just sort of embroidered that in. Sewed it in little squares, look like suckers. I didn't put no wires in here, but you can kind of pose the arms without it. And this was just kind of to define a little area on him, because some of the octopi have little, like, their head isn't just perfectly, if you look at a real octopus, the shape of him can be different. So I just was trying to put some depth on his face. Anyway, I think he's cute, and I'm gonna show you how I made him. So join me for this video. Hit like and subscribe, please, and I will see you in a sec with the supplies. So we'll be using a flexi loom for this little guy, and we're going to use 24 pegs of this flexi loom, which is the regular flexi loom kit with 42 links and 84 pegs in the orange box. Regular half gauge for medium yarn. So this is what I use for his body, or his head, whatever you want to call this. And then I put this one together, 8 pegs, little square, for his tentacles, or whatever they call this on an octopus. His arms, we can say arms. And for his eyes, I did use a crochet hook. And then I sewed this in, and I sewed these in. Alright, so we're going to draw string cast on. We're going to make a slip knot. Actually, I don't think I slip knotted this, so I'm going to take that back. I think I just sat them in here. Just set the yarn on there, and I just wrap. Oh no, this way. Okay. I just wrapped it in and out like you do with a drawstring cast on. I just didn't connect it. So as you know, these flexi looms don't have an anchor peg, and I didn't feel like putting one on that first peg, which I'm just going to go in front of. It'll work itself out, as drawstring cast-ons usually do. Then you're going to lay the yarn a little loosely in front of each peg, and every peg, I have my loom on backwards. I connected it inside out. Hold on a sec. I'm telling you, one of these times I'm going to be absolutely perfectly ready for videoing and not screw something up. There, we can just turn it around because it's a flexi, and it's so easy to do. Alright, let's try that again. Because you know, gotta do everything the hard way. Not really. Okay. So in and out. All the way around. Just gonna cross in front here. Then every peg with 2 strands. You're gonna go bottom over the top. All the way around. And I'll be back. So I'm back to the first peg, and whether you put this yarn, your first piece of yarn behind or in front, you're going to do the opposite here. So I'm going to just go behind it because I put mine in front. And go to the next peg, and we're going to start our row 1. And you're just going to skip that first peg for now. You're not going to worry about it. It'll be fine. So now we're going to U-wrap knit 8 rows. U-wrap is wrap the peg halfway and bottom over the top. And we're going to pull this a little bit. There we go. And then keep going all the way around. Half wrap, knit over. Half wrap, knit over. Half wrap, knit over. Half wrap, knit over. All the way around 8 times. So this is row 1. So 7 more after this. Back to the front, and now I'm going to do my second row, and I'm going to knit over the first peg that we skipped for the first row. And I'm going to pull the string inside, give that little tuggy tug. It's fine. So now you're on row 2. Same thing, U-wrap knit all the way around. Half wrap, knit over. I'm going to do that 7 more times. Well, this is the second row, so 6 more after this. So now I've done my 8 rows of U-wrap knit. I'm going to take the cast on drawstring, and I'm going to pull it, close up the bottom part as much as I can. It won't all the way till you take it off, but I just want to give you a little look, see what it should look like right now. And then we're going to do 1 row of purl. So purling is, that bird sounds like it's right outside my window. Go and pick up your working yarn from the bottom up, make a new loop, pull that loop off the peg and put it back on and pull. make a new loop, pulling it up through the top, pull that loop off, put it back on, and pull the working yarn. That's a purl. One more time. Grab the working yarn, pull it up, make a new loop, pull that loop off, put it back on, and pull. We're only going to do one row of this. So go finish your one row of purl all the way around. Okay, moving right along. We're going to go right into the owl eye for 15 rows. So, owl eye is where you wrap the previous peg and come around in front of 2 pegs and knit off both pegs. So wrap in front of the last peg you did and go in front of the 2. So we're going to go in front of the peg that the working yarn is on and in front of the next one as well. And we're going to go around for 15 rows. So keep going, and I'll be back in a jiffy. So here's our 15 rows of owl eye finished, and what it should look like now. So we're going to bind off, basic bind off. We're just gonna cut enough yarn to go through every peg, wrap it about once or so. You can use your needle or you can use your hook. I use my hook most time. We're just gonna bring the working yarn up through every peg. Like so, all the way around. If you had your needle on there, you just push it up through each one. Now I'm just removing my pegs off. Like so. So I got this like little bowl thing. And we're gonna stretch our stitches. As always. Always stretch, stretch, stretch. Okay. And see, we want this to be flat. Oh my goodness. Gonna thread my needle for the bottom. Bring it up inside. Turn it inside out for a bit. And we're gonna tighten this hole up by going in the little circle around the bottom hole. Oh my gosh. He only has to clear his throat when I'm recording. And that's my dog, too. Boys are noisy. I'm in a house full of men, including my dog. I swear. Close up this hole best you can. Leave the extra inside. Put it back right side out. Then we're going to stuff the octopus and close the head off. Or, yeah, the top of the body or head, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so that's done. I've stuffed him. I think I stuffed him a little bit more than I did the other one. Maybe I take some out. See how that works. I'm going to close them off. And play around with the shape. You want the bottom kind of flat. So, that looks good. So I'm gonna tighten this up, take my needle, sew around here, and stick it through the body and cut off the excess that comes back out. As soon as I find where I had to order some more metal needles. I don't know, my couch and stuff or wherever I sit, always eating them needles. Or it's with the fairies that took all my forks, right? Missing forks again. Actually, I'm missing forks and spoons and knives. And everybody in the house is adult age, so we blame the fairies. It's probably all of us accidentally throwing them away. I'm gonna give it a little knot here. All the guys are awake in the house, so bear with us. Alright, and poke it through the body. And we're gonna cut that off. Give it a little tug and it'll bounce right back inside there. If you don't, give it a little squeeze and it'll go back in. Now we're gonna take this one and we're going to draw a string cast on and do it for, we're gonna flatten it around for 35 rows. And this will get us our arm. So it cut me off, so it, yeah, this is going to make these. This is 8 pegs of a regular flexi loom. We're going to do 35 rows of flat knit. So we're going to draw a string cast on. I'm using this as my first peg, colored on my loom. And we're just going to drag it through here, in and out, in front of and behind, lay it across every peg with 2 strands, bottom over the top. Told you they're all awake.
What? They can see me?
They can hear you. Okay, then after the drawstring cast on, we're going to flatten it every peg for 35 rows. Just lay it in front and bottom over the top. It goes pretty quick. once you get going, it's only 8 pegs, so if you need help remembering where your first peg is, you don't have to color it like I did. You could stick a stitch marker on there like I did over here. So we can just stick this on over here, and every time you get to that, that will be where you start your count. You can get lost doing this, it's so easy. So we're on row 2. That's my drawstring. We're going to give that a little tug. It's easier when I'm not having my arms outstretched in front of a camera, because, you know, it doesn't really matter when you're doing it all by yourself how you're holding things when no one else has to see. So this was row 2. Now row 3. So we're back at the beginning. So we're going to keep doing this for 35 rows. So this is about 20 rows. I pulled on the drawstring as I went and pulled it through and stretched it out. So we're going to do 15 more for 35. Now I'm just going to cast off. Drawstring, cast off, regular, bind off. All 8 pegs. Oh my gosh, that mouse is loud. Okay, we're gonna just take it off the pegs and pull the cast off string. Stretch your stitches, even though we've been stretching as we go. Stretch them again. Pretty long stretch. And I think I'm gonna try to count these little things, but I think I did like 38 for this leg. He just looks like he has a bigger head than the other one. I'll let you know. I'll type it out. Alright, so I did not count yet. Let me, alright, I'll type it in. But we're gonna make 7 more of these. And then I'll show you how I put the suckers on. So, yeah, it's about 38. I did 38 rows this time around. So we'll make 7 more and then we'll do the sucker part. So I got all 8 of my legs. So now I'm going to put on the suckers that look like these. I'm going to do this green ones in yellow, because why not? I'm going to decide what side I want the top to be and the bottom. I want this to be the bottom. Just looks like a bottom. That looks like a top. And I'm going to find the center V's, the center stitches. I'm going to come up here to the top. And I'm going to go under those V, that first stitch right there. You see this little V stitch. And I'm going to pull through. But I'm going to leave a little tail. Because later we're going to come back up here. And I'm going to pull that through close to this one. And we're going to tie them together and knot it right there. But for now, I'm going to use the center V's of the underside of the leg to make the suckers with a long, this is probably 24 inches about of yellow. So I'm going to come back under, and I use 2 V's per sucker, so it makes a little box shape. So I'm going to go, I want this to come over to be the top part. So I'm going to go back in this one and come down here to the second V. It's like two on the outside of the V. It'll be 2. See that? Be 2 loopies on the outside of the V's. I'm going to go down that from the top. And then leave it kind of loose, not pull it too tight. And then I'm going to come over to this side across the V. Get my 2 loops on the side of that, on that side of the V's. Pull it up. So now I have the top and the bottom of the sucker. And I want to go down the side now from where I just came. And I'm going to cross over to the top, but underneath, like so. And that's going to make that this side of the box of the sucker. See, now we got 3 sides and we're at the top here. So we're going to go on top of those 2 lines right here. We're going to go on top and down into this hole again. And we're going to find 2 lines to go under and down, so that we're always 2 little lines apart as well from each sucker to sucker. Do you get it? There's 1 sucker, and here's the top of the next one started. So we're going to go over here to the top, find our 2 lines to go under, pull down, not too tight. Make sure you're not going in the other side. You want to stay in the middle of the leg. Go across. Excuse me. Find the 2 lines. There's 1. There's 2. Go up. Kind of embroidering these, so to speak. Then we want to do this side, so we go back down and up and across to the top over there. Oop, came off my needle. And you can play with them, squish them a little with your hands. Gotta get my needle back on. Okay. Two lines back down through the bottom. Find your next two to skip to your next sucker. And pretty much that's it. And you keep going. Down two. There. Oh, we're gonna go across first, my bad. Don't let me confuse you. Whatever works is best. You can find your own method, or you can copy mine. They don't gotta be perfect or equal in any way. Just basically, it looks like little suckers on the bottom of a tentacle. And you keep going, and you do it for all 8. So here's my first one, fully done. Little cute suckers. Cute. Cute little arm. So the other end, I ended down here. I pulled the yellow through. I'm going to knot it at both ends. I'm gonna feed this one through some more so it's closer to this end. I'm going to knot it twice. I knotted both ends twice. Okay. And I'm going to cut the yellow. Well, you can feed it back through the leg if you want, but I'm just gonna cut it. It'll be fine. I'm gonna leave both greens on so that later when we go to sew them on the bottom, I can decide which end I want to use to sew on the bottom. So I'm gonna go do all the legs now with the suckers and be back to show you how I attach them to the bottom. Okay, all 8 of our arms are done. So now we're going to take them sew them into the bottom. And I sewed them from like the outer edge up and around, like that. So on the bottom, take it and put it like so, and then I get my needle on here, and I'd sew down this side, connect them, and then go through the leg to the other side and connect up. Leaving a little space in between this hole. So I'm going to come in here, pick up a stitch, and then pick up a stitch on the arm. Come around, pick up a stitch underneath, and go through the arm. And do that again. And one more time on the edge of the base here. Then I'm going to take it and I'm going to go through the arm and then the next stitch and out the other side. And then come over here and go back up to the point, grab a stitch underneath, go through the arm, stitch underneath, go through the arm, again, and then through the arm. We're back up here to the top. So I'm going to grab a stitch underneath, go through the arm, then go through the loop and make a knot. And then I'm going to feed the leftover into the body and out somewhere up in the side. And there's one arm. Okay. And so then I'm going to do the next one across from it. Then I'll put two right here, and then I'll fill in the middles. So it'll be like this, and like this, and then another one over here, and then you'll fill in these parts like this. So yeah, I'll see you back here when I'm done attaching the legs. Now we're gonna make this eyeball. You can do any kind of eyeball. You can put some safety eyes on here before you close the head up, or you can figure out a different way. I'm using a crochet hook to make this. So you make a slip knot, put it on your hook, and you make 6 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I went into the first chain and I brought yarn through it, and again, kind of forming a circle. And then I went into the next chain, wrapped my hook, pulled through, wrapped my hook again, and pulled through 2. I think that's what I did anyway. So I'm gonna go through the next chain, wrap my hook, pull it through, wrap my hook again, pull through 2. So we're kind of making the little bowl shape for the hooded eye type deal. Bulbous eye, I don't know. Wrap your hook, pull it through, pull through 2. On all the chains that are left, which would have been like 5 because we went through the first one to start. So here's the 6th one, I believe. Might have lost count, but it looks about right. And then I'm going to go through right here to connect this together and pull through both of those loops, and then pull through this one loop. And I'm going to cut the excess and leave a bit of a tail. Then I'm going to pull that tight, pull both strings, and see you got like this tiny little bulbous type hooded eye with a hole, and that's where I'm going to put the yellow pupil, I guess, whatever you call this. So to do the yellow part, I'm gonna crochet, just gonna cut like a 6-inch piece of yarn in yellow for this. Make a little slip knot, put it on the hook, and I'm gonna chain 2. 1, 2. I'm just trying to make a little ball to fit into the eyepiece we just made. So I'm going to go into the first chain, pull my yarn through, wrap it, and pull through 2. And that's all I'm going to do. And then I'm going to pull through one more time the whole last bit of yarn. And we're just going to pull on these ends till it makes a little ball. And that's how I did the yellow. So I'm going to put a knot in these 2 ends of the yellow, will help shape it too. Pull it tight. And I'm going to knot it one more time and cut the shorter end off. You could maybe put a dab of glue on these if you think you need to, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna pull it through with my needle. Through the hole here up front. But I'm gonna aim the needle down where these green ones are hanging. Shove it in there. And then I'm going to knot it with the green ones. Whichever one, don't matter. Knot it twice to secure it in there. And then I'm going to cut those strings and leave one to connect it to the head. So we're gonna go about here. Whatever you think looks right to you. And kind of play with the stuff in. And I'm gonna connect these eyes. Like so. And leave them out a little bit. Kind of floppy do little. It's hard to do this on camera. I'm going to sew them on with a few stitches. And knots. Like so. And then hide the excess yarn in the body. Boom. Boom. There we go. Then cut that off. And we're going to put the other one on, but not on camera.